Welcome back, everybody, to another action-packed and knowledgeable episode of Lockdown 23 and 1. Today, we're going back to some of our roots. We're going to be reacting to the hit TV show 60 Days In. Season 8 coming from Pitt County, North Carolina. And you know North Carolina is a bordering state to Virginia, where I did my time at. So you know the politics ain't too different. Or for some people that don't understand what politics mean, the rules and regulations that's pretty much made and governed by the inmates inside these prisons. And that varies from state to state. The more out west you go, it changes. People run their ship differently, right? So that's why I do these highly detailed breakdown and reviews of these shows. And believe it or not, even though some people might think that it's not a real authentic look of jail, in all honesty, you can still learn a lot from it. So hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. If you do, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave, and check out my playlist with many more videos for you to start watching today. Now, the participant that we're going to be following today's name is Jacob. Now, keep in mind, I'm reading this straight from the A&E website. If you want to check it out, it's under Season 8. Jacob has a unique personality of the criminal justice system because he's seen it from both sides. He's had family members work in corrections and law enforcement, as well as loved ones who serve time behind bars. I don't think that counts as seeing both sides. Maybe just hearing about it, but not seeing it. In order to see it, you gotta actually live through it. Just my 2 cents. But anyways, Jake believes in law and order, but thinks jail should be a place of rehabilitation instead of punishment. Jacob was born to humble beginnings in Columbus, Ohio. Many of his friends sold and used drugs, but Jacob was never tempted. He heard horror stories about being incarcerated and never wanted to jeopardize his freedom. Jacob's dad worked at the state prison for several years, but got into some legal trouble and spent 6 months in jail. Jacob, a high school senior at the time, was devastated that his dad missed out on these major milestones in his life: his senior football season and a high school graduation. The two have spent years trying to repair their relationship, and although they are close today, a lot has gone unsaid. Now a father himself, Jacob wants to go undercover, better understand what his dad experienced while locked up. Jacob hopes the experience will finally bring closure to that painful time in their lives. This 60 Days In superfan is confident that he can navigate jail seamlessly, which in my eyes, that means perfectly. We'll see about that. But anyways, his only fear about going undercover is being courted by a gang. Courted? What, are they coming to take you to prom? Come on, Andy, this is 2023. Nobody courts nothing besides a basketball. If I wrote, I would have said the only thing Jake's scared of was getting ran down by a group of gangbangers. But he's engaged and has 2 young children. In his free time, he manages professional boxers. Wow, man, so he's used to a little bit of fighting. He ain't used to being separated from his freshly engaged old lady, though, that's for sure. We've seen past seasons where that messes people up, ruins their whole relationship, but we're not going down that road today. Let's get into the video. If you enjoy, like I said, tap that like button. Now, old Jacob's going into the block for the first time, and what I like to see about these participants is their facial expressions walking in. You know, a lot of people say when you go in, better have your mean mug face on, like you're ready to kill something, and they'll fear you, right? You know, I wouldn't recommend that. I'd just go in there with your regular old face, you know, like I got on now. Not happy, not mad, not sad, just plain Jane. Focused is what I like to call it. But let's watch Jacob come in. He actually does it pretty good with his head held high, but at the same time, you know, he ain't giving off an impression of, I'm too gangster for my jumpsuit. All right, believe it or not, some people do come in like that. Head high. Now, when he came in, he asked the guard, where is he going, right? And that's actually a very common question coming in. A lot of people don't know where they're going. And sometimes a CO will throw you into the pod without an assigned room. You just gotta find something that's open, right? Make yourself comfy. And that's usually the worst situations, because a lot of times people are probably using that bunk to cook on. They're like, nah, I don't want you on that bunk, bro. You gotta find somewhere else to go. Or they just want to give you a hard time because you look like you're soft as cotton. I've seen it actually happen in past seasons of 60 Days In, where guys came into the block, tried to get on the bunk. Dude's like, nah, you need to go somewhere else. It's always nice to have a guard assign you a cell for your first day in. It stops a lot of drama in its tracks. Now, I believe this is like a quarantine block, right? I guess you got to go into these cells for, I think, 48 hours or something like that, maybe a little longer. And believe it or not, this is probably some of the most treacherous times for some of these individuals, because just being stuck in the box like this for 23 hours of the day will drive you nuts. I mean, it's a serious crash course into jail. Not when it comes to the community side of things, but just sitting in that tank. Also, let me run it back. Look at this container they give them. It's pretty big. And I'm not gonna lie, it looks like some pretty solid plastic, man, with a little bit of dental floss or that nylon string that's underneath the plastic of a mat would cut right through that box. A couple of them layered up, Shank Central, baby. That's why Virginia Beach jail and other jails across the country started giving people plastic bags. But when I first started my bid, they gave us little crates like that, half the size. And cats were cracking them things open, making shanks out of them. I never forget, one of the best shanks I ever had in jail was a piece of plastic, man, from an old school Bic razor that I found in my mat. Probably had to have been at least 10, 11 years old, sitting in that mat for so long, man, because they didn't even make those razors anymore, and the plastic handles on them were super thick. Melt them puppies together, sharpen it up on the concrete, and you got yourself a prison P90. Not really, but you know what I mean. It's equivalent to it in lockup. But as you can see, he's being housed with a black guy. You know, over here in North Carolina, that segregation stuff goes straight out the window. Now, just like any other situation, you know, when you first get into the cell with someone new, y'all start asking each other questions. And you got to keep in mind, this is season 8 of 60 Days In. Inmates all across the country know about this show, right? And when they see the camera crew in the jail that they're in, man, they're going to start saying, there ain't no other TV shows out there besides 60 Days In doing lockup content, right? So they already know by now. That's just my 2 cents. Of course, there's some guys in there probably clueless because, you know, they're ripping and running on the streets, ain't keeping up with these seasons and stuff, but his cellmate's about to ask some questions, and I'm gonna break down exactly the kind of questions you could ask one of these guys to really find out if they're in the mix or a part of the program.
What's your going on now? 50. Down? Yeah. What's that about? 2,000 with mine. Out of state, 25. And 15 or 10. And girls, man? Nah. She not good. I threatened the cop. Nah. I told the cop I was gonna kill him.
Guy says, what is that, about 2,000? I think that was a ranging question to see if he's been in the system before, because everybody knows for the most part, at least in Virginia, you know, it might be different in North Carolina, but 10% is typically what you have to pay on a bond. So that might have been a trick question for him. He already knows his 5, but he threw the 2 out there to see if he'd bite it and go with it, knowing damn well that ain't the right amount. He answered it pretty good, though. It looks like they probably debriefed him on this type of question, what to say and stuff. An out-of-state bond cost him 25, so I'm guessing 25,000, right? That is something that definitely would have threw me off. If I was trying to ask him questions in the cell, I wouldn't have known too much about having a bond from another state. Never went through that type of situation. But did you hear how he said, I threatened a cop? That's one red flag. And the way that I would have found out if that was a red flag or truthful is ask a couple more questions. Have you ever been in trouble before? The reason why I would ask that is because if he says no, right? I don't believe anybody with a first-time charge of threatening. It don't matter if it was a police officer or not. It's his first time being charged, and your bond's $50,000. That makes no sense. Someone with the first offender status, man, they'll probably let him out with a PR bond, personal reconnaissance, where you don't have to pay nothing. But $50,000 for a threatening case? Nah, I would have felt like that was a bunch of bullshit. So yeah, that's what I would have asked him. Have you ever done any times as your first rodeo? Also, I would have asked him, what judge did you go in front of? You don't know his name, huh? Well, what do he look like? Most people in this county doing time, they've been in there a few times. And chances are they know every last judge on that bench and what they look like. Like we've seen on some of my past videos, judges will be given nicknames. Cut 'em loose Carl or smoke 'em tight Smithers. Yeah, I just made them up, right? But yeah, you know, inmates know these judges. But him being out of state, he wouldn't know too much of anything, right? So that is a great way to cover up or blanket a lot of these phishing questions that these inmates could give them. I'd still be able to figure that money out though, that's for sure. But Jacob's steady looking out the window and he's paranoid as hell. Turns out, like I said, these inmates ain't stupid. A couple guys is out roaming the day room. I'm guessing they probably getting their hour out, but they decide to inspect the whole pod. Probably because all the cameras, of course, but they're starting to realize that inside of every cell has a microphone. That right there is just the ultimate pushover. You know there's some kind of lockup program going on in here, and you just got to figure out who's a part of it. 60 days in, tighten up, man. You got to hide them damn mics. Paint them the color of the wall or drill some concrete out and slide them in there. You can't be letting them things be seen. But this cell is pretty nice, man. It looks like they got some fresh caulking on the bottom of the floor there. No ants coming into that puppy. Let's watch these guys get suspicious though over the mics.
First appearance of one. No, I already had mine high camera. Oh, the inmate one? That's a lot. That's it. This one ain't, this one too. This one got one.
Now these guys are definitely onto something, right? But look at this day room. I'm not gonna lie, this puppy is nice. Spacious as hell. You could walk some good laps around this. Look at the security booth windows though. See how they're tinted so that nobody can see in them? Well, one time it was New Year's and I was in a pod just like that. Well, it wasn't a pod, it was actually a dorm, but the booth windows were kind of similar to this. Elevated from the ground type of situation. But you can still see in it a little bit. This one's a little higher. Anyways, I gathered like 6 or 7 flints from a lighter, you know, the stuff that makes a spark, and I tie them together with a lighter spring, and you know, if you heat them up till they turn orange, you get another lighter and put a flame on it till they turn orange. You can throw it at anything and it will make sparks, like a big spark firework, right? And I had 7 of them put together, 7 or 6, I can't remember. I didn't know what was gonna happen because there were so many of them. My first time ever trying that technique, but I got them all hot as I possibly could and threw them at the booth window. Man, that was a mistake. I ain't get caught, but I almost got beat down by a few inmates because I fucked up the routine, meaning that they almost got shaken down, locked down, all that good stuff, right? So you gotta be careful when having a little bit of fun in prison, man, because there's a lot of inmates in there programming. If you mess up that program, man, they're gonna mess you up. But we got the stairs here. Great place to do pull-ups. I used to always get yelled at on the intercom, get off the stairs, get off the stairs. I'd get off, walk around, but I'll be back again. Not to mention, perfect for grilling on some establishments. We've seen videos of that. You would have to get that paint off of there first, but it looks like they freshly painted this, so it might be difficult. Floor's looking real nice, unforgiving concrete. Different kind of concrete than you've ever stepped on, that's for sure. I've seen many heads bounce off that tempered concrete. So every 60 Days In show has, for these participants, a safe word or a safe symbol so that the cast knows that they can't take it no more, they need out. In just under 3 hours, Mr. Jacob hits him with this signal, which means, come save me. Right, so it didn't take long for him to get all paranoid by these guys looking at all the mics and stuff like that, right? I ain't gonna lie, I probably would have been, you know, a little offish as well, but I wouldn't have quit, man. I don't think, if I was a part of this program, I don't think there's any way that I could quit. I would have to go out on a stretcher, right? They would have to force me out the program. There's no way I would give up on a 60 Days In episode. No damn way, man. There ain't no way. My dignity, my reputation would go straight out the window. Some of these guys, man, they've done time before and they're saying that, you know, they can't take it no more. They're not the person that they used to be. Well, man, for me, I don't give a damn. It's like riding a bike. Throw me in the cell block and I know I can't get out. It's gonna flip like a light switch. Where's the poker table? Not even playing, man. You know, but then again, you know, it might be different for individuals because they know that they can leave at any time. It's always different when it's like that. Maybe some guys just want to come into the program, make some money, and dip fast. I don't know. I wonder if they get a little extra money from completing the whole program. Maybe they get paid by the show, the episode. If that's the case, then I definitely ain't leaving, man. I'm like, look, just leave me in here for a year, make a whole damn season just on me. Not the 90-minute distress signal. Oh, man. He was doing all right too, man. I don't think they were really suspicious of him too much.
It's cold back here.
Yeah, it's cold. It's colder than a witch's nipple. Get me out of here. Now Jacob goes in there, starts talking to the cast, saying, "Look, what are y'all doing, man? You know, y'all can't care about us because you're throwing microphones right there in the cell blatantly for everyone to see. I mean, how am I supposed to be able to do this program without people suspecting me?" Which is very true. That's why I said, man, maybe they gotta start drilling them things inside the concrete or something and painting over them. I don't know, but if I was an inmate and I seen cameras and microphones, I know for a fact something's up. And I'm gonna find which one of these cats is a part of that program. Matter of fact, it would have made my time go by fast trying to find and hunt down these fools. I'd be talking to the other inmates like, man, I swear that dude's a part of the program. He ain't got nothing to do with it. End up getting stomped out over just speculation. Not because of me, you know, I don't give out no orders to stomp nobody out, but when people start speculating and stuff like that and wishing upon a star, they don't care if they are or not. They just want some damn recreational time. Let's go beat his ass, man, just to be safe. You know, so it doesn't matter if they're suspicious of you or not. There's gonna be a bunch of other people they're suspicious of as well. Not gonna lie, the white guys probably be the first ones looked at. But this is another pretty wild thing, okay? The cast said, look, you know, there's other people participating in this program. We got to take you back to the pod, man. If you don't go back to the pod, then you're going to be risking all their safety. And he goes, yeah. Well, I'm not going back there. Oh, you don't give a shit about nobody else's safety, man. He just wants out. You know, that just shows you that nobody really cares about nobody these days. Man, they just care about themselves. Now, I know that was a short clip, and that's how it's going to be when I do these 60 Days In reviews. I'm not here to watch the video with y'all. It's already been played on national television. I'm here to give you my 2 cents. If you don't like it, then go watch the full show for yourself on A&E. All right, hit TV show, right? A&E, 60 Days In. Now, Jacob, if you happen to be watching this episode, right, hit me up on Instagram. I would like to have you on the show. Tell a little bit about your story. Also, maybe talk a little bit about your dad. Because, you know, they had a falling out. His dad was a correctional officer for a long time, then happened to get in some trouble and went to prison or jail for 6 months. So that is pretty crazy to go through, especially if you're the son of the correctional officer. Seeing him going to prison, probably talking to you every day about being good. You don't want to go there. You don't believe what I seen. Don't do bad. Don't go to prison. And then all of a sudden he ends up going. Hard to learn from someone that ends up breaking his own code of conduct. Anyways, until the next time, stay tuned. I got part 2 from yesterday's episode. I might drop it today with this one, not sure, because it's already made. I just got to edit it up a bit.